Here we are, and welcome to a literary edition of the Friday Night Movie Podcast, because in a rare occasion, we're going to talk about books, and I did reading. Lily and Becky, what do you think of that?
Historical moment.
Whatever it is, it must be really good if you're sitting down to read it.
It's really good. We have with us, this is actually the second author we've had, but it's a similar thing because it's a recommendation that came through my.
We may have had more than two, but
no, I think. Well, no, we've had a couple, but like in terms of, this is the second person who's firmly here for writing purposes. We have with us Ari Skolnick, author of Ruby Ledger and the Assassination of Abraham Lincoln, which is part of a series that she's writing, which are a lot of fun and came recommended by my eldest daughter, who recommended us other great series like Addison Cook, written by the great Jonathan Stokes. And this is totally in the vein of that. It's historical, it's fun, there's adventure. You've got a quick talking main character that's, an old soul, but young at the same time. There's a lot of fun stuff here. But before we talk to Ari, welcome Ari, and ask Ari questions. This is the first time in a few weeks that the three of us are together, because Becky and I did last week on our own. Happy Passover. How was Passover, guys?
I did not know that you and Becky were not doing 8 days. So I want my.
I haven't done 8 days.
I don't know why.
We were teenagers. Our synagogue growing up didn't do 8 days.
I had a really hard time that last day, and I don't even eat that much bread. But
right, but it was. But you know what? It was
that last 24 hours. And I'm talking to Becky. She's like, "Oh no, we ended it yesterday."
And you still eat rice and corn.
I do rice and corn.
Right. So I don't know why this was hard for you.
I didn't even have rice until Beck and I went out for sushi.
We broke it on, it was really good. So I hit a milestone, like a really important milestone this year with my Pesach observance, which is that I hardcore made my 6-year-old observe Passover. There was no wiggle room for her this year.
Oh, that's big. I remember
so
when you make that shift.
Like this is like the time where we are building those core memories. That like they should, it should be just like a teen. It should feel a teensy bit unfair. To feel a little bit unfair, just so that she always remember. So like she was invited to a birthday party during Passover, and they served pizza and had cupcakes, and she
had to have carrots.
Nope. I packed her a matzah sandwich, and she had to sit at the table.
You didn't even pack her matzah pizza so she could fit in with everyone?
Nope. Well, she prefers the matzah peanut butter and jelly, and she had to sit there with her little lunchbox eating her matzah peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and could not have a bite of pizza. And then when they gave out the cupcakes, she looked at me so sad. She's like, "Can I have one?" I was like, "You can eat the frosting, but you cannot take a bite of the cake part." So I let her eat the frosting, but she couldn't eat the cake.
That she didn't revolt, and
you know what the truth is?
Was hardcore with my 8-year-old this week.
The truth is, she doesn't
His name is Ari.
But she's fine with eating pizza, but it's not like she's not that excited about pizza. She's like, okay. Like the hardest thing was taking away waffles in the morning. Like she didn't have waffles for a week. I made
almond flour waffles. They tasted like dirt, but they still ate them.
I made her matzah brei. She at first
she did eat it,
and then she ate it and she loved it.
Yeah.
So almond flour, I just whipped up.
Might have that for lunch.
You need a lot of extra eggs for that to stick together.
Now I'm just thinking about food. We got to stop talking about food.
Anyways, but I was saying it was a big deal.
Another precocious, brilliant child, and that is Ruby Ledger, who is the star of this super fun book. She has a longer name. It's like Rebecca Ann Ledger or Rebecca
Anna Rose.
Anna Rose Ledger. Okay, wait. Ari Skolnick, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Very excited.
So you've now written like a couple of books.
Yes, I've written a few books. Some are in different genres and different age groups, but this is like my main series.
And what made this your main series?
Well, for starters, this was the very first story I've ever written. And it's the one that I feel like I connect to the most out of all of them, because other things I've written are in like fantasy, and they're a little bit harder to connect to because they have more fictional aspects to them. Where this one, even though it is fiction, it technically could have happened in real life. And I feel like in a way that makes it easier to connect to it.
Yeah, so I'll just recap, but I don't want to give away spoilers, but essentially Ruby is this badass 9-year-old who comes from a very posh family, which I thought was a really interesting detail that, she's not, that she really comes from this upper crust class. And she essentially, under the tutelage of her teacher, Mr. Henry, learns all of these skills and solves mysteries and uncovers a whole bunch of mysteries about a plot to kill Abraham Lincoln well before he was actually assassinated. So this could have happened, as opposed, which was something I was concerned about when I started. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a depressing book because Ruby doesn't know how this turns out. But I guess because it takes place in 1859, there's still some time.
Yeah, my goal with this was to make it more of like a comedic historical book, because personally, every time I have learned about history, like history was my kryptonite growing up. I had a very difficult time in it, where some people have a difficult time in math and science. For me, it was history. I found that to be because most of the time they'd have you memorize a historical event and a date, but they wouldn't really teach you why we should care about that today, like what affects you today. And so I really wanted to create this story to help people learn about this in a fun way, and it feels like you're actually connecting to this time period and learning about the Civil War. So, or before.
That's really cool. And the next one that's coming is also Civil War themed.
Yeah. So the next one is based on like how, I'm not going to give too much away exactly how this happens, but Ruby is the cherry on top to the Civil War beginning. So yeah, you get the Civil War in that one. And for the next few books, like it's the Civil War time period. And there's a lot of battles happening across America. So
you're not only creating characters and making a story make sense, but you're also doing tremendous amount of research while all this is happening, because there's so many great little details about the technology of the time and the events of the time, like the old-timey photograph development and the steam engines and all of that. That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of the time I'll write and then I'll run into something and be like, okay, did this happen? I know for the book, the one that I'm working on right now, I completely messed up the timeline and I had to spend a few hours redoing it so that it would work, because something that was very important to me was having it be about 95% accurate to history. Right. Obviously not 100%, because Buchanan real life didn't want to assassinate Lincoln, but there is news saying that he didn't like him at all. So it could have happened, probably not, but it could have happened.
But it's very much based in historical facts.
Well, I have another question on that note. So one of the really fun things about the writing is and you have like a glossary in the very first chapter of all, like whether helping us understand when certain things were invented or just what certain words mean.
Oh yeah, I want to pull these up.
So
actually,
and it's
so
great.
fun.
I loved it. I was reading that. I was like, oh, this is a great setup. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun reading this. So like, as you're writing, have you just learned this old timey language that it's easy for you, or do you have to like go through your writing afterwards and be like, what do I replace the word awesome with? Like, how does that work?
So it's more of, as I'm writing, I will use the language. I didn't want to put too many old-timey words in there because I still want it to be understandable to today. So It doesn't sound exactly like it did back then, but the language used in 1860 is very similar to what it is today. So that helps. There are a lot of words throughout the books that are from older language, and I do put the meaning in front to make sure that people will understand.
But right, you just know this list of words off by heart, and you know when to use them. Yeah. That's what I think the part that I'm like, that I think.
Let's have a little fun with these words for a minute. All right, Ari, you're gonna vote. Like, you're gonna say, so we have a rating system on our show. It's called buy, rent, or meh. Buy is the highest, rent is medium, and meh can really mean whatever you want it to mean. Okay. I'm going to say some of these words, and I'm going to ask Lily Becky too, but I mostly want to hear Lily, because Lily has lived in a foreign country for a long time and is on top of everything forgetting English.
And I was an English major.
And I want Lily to either provide a definition and an
But
actor.
are you going to say it in context of a sentence?
No,
or you just
absolutely
say-
not. I'm just going to
Okay,
give you the
that's not
word,
fair.
and you're going to have to tell me a description and an actor or character that you think goes well with your fake description. And then Ari, you're going to rate it by rent or may.
Okay, by
Okay.
rent for men.
Yeah, by rent or may. And it doesn't have to be accuracy because, like, it's not just about being accurate. It's if Lily can sell this. Are you ready, Lily?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is a gib face? No cheating. And who is a gib face?
That cheeky monkey.
What cheeky monkey?
Coco.
Coco.
Oh, from the thing? Well, it doesn't have to be from the book.
Oh, I thought I had
No,
to
just from anything, Lily. Like,
Well,
who
I
is
would like
what's
to
a
use the book.
okay?
Ruby's best friend is the Coco, the monkey.
And you
And I
say
feel Coco
you say the
definitely
monkey is a gib face.
for sure.
It seems
All
kind
right.
of mean. Wait. Is Ruby calling him a gib face or are other people calling him a gib face?
I'm calling him a gib.
You
face.
guys don't
You're
even-
calling him a
Never.
gib face.
Ruby
You never
would
even met this
never.
monkey.
This is a noun.
I
by
That
the
is
how
way.
this
so
monkey has
mean.
behaved.
Oh, it's a noun?
Yeah.
Well, I'm very confused.
All right, Ari, how did Lily do there?
I would give it a men, but only
It's pretty terrible, right? That was terrible.
I mean, I guess like it's subjective is what you think of when you see a monkey, but yeah, I give it a man.
Okay.
And definition, Ari, what's the definition?
An ugly person.
I wasn't. I mean, he's a monkey.
It's a cute
I-
monkey.
Our mother had a pet monkey, by the way. I loved that element of the story. When Ruby
It is
keeps
very
saying, like,
cute,
it's
it
not
is.
so weird to have a monkey, I'm like, absolutely not. Our mom had a
Absolutely
pet
not.
monkey.
Wow.
All right, how about this one, Lily?
Hmm.
An unlicked cub.
That's obviously like someone who needs a bath.
Okay.
That's
And
someone
who
who
needs
Yeah,
a man?
you know what Lily's doing? She's translating into Spanish and being like, "Oh, these words these absolutely make sense." She
Absolutely.
goes,
I'm gonna
"When my
definitely
children,"
use Becky's
she's like,
eldest is for sure, or Becky's youngest is definitely an unlicked cub. Girlfriend needs a bath.
All right, Ari, what do you think?
Man.
"Wow, I think it was
An
great."
Even a
unlicked
rent?
cub is, according to
I'd give that a high rent.
It's basically a very rude person.
Oh no, she's for sure rude. So
Yeah, no, it works either way with my youngest. She's schmutzy
Crazy
and
stink
rude.
guy.
okay.
Unlicked.
And
Wild.
let's see. Also, the history of cholesterol is in your glossary, which I found amazing because I have so much of it
Yeah.
that I. Okay, and let's do one more, Lily. What does Vasey, which is often used to describe Ruby's sister, right? What does how Vasey and a person or someone that you would associate it with?
Well, I know her sister's like girly and more traditional than
Uh-huh.
she is. So I like Vasey is like, prissy.
So who's
Like
named
stuck
someone
up?
Vasey?
Like she's stuck up?
No, not necessarily stuck up, but just like the
Like
more
prim and proper?
yeah, like
Yeah,
prissy.
So
How'd
she
Lily
doesn't
do,
like to
Ari?
be-
You're kind of on the borderline between man and rent.
So improving. So you're saying she's getting better at this game.
A little bit better. Lazy basically means stupid, but I guess
Oh,
like
okay.
if you're very
Wow, Ruby's
with
not holding
stupid,
back.
But no, Maisie means stupid, and her sister's not very intelligent.
You know what, Shy? I have to tell you, I was skeptical when we started this game. This is my new favorite game.
Yeah, this is right.
Having Lily create interpretations or words and knowing that
Oh
she's
my
like
God,
also
asking
finding this-
Lily about things that are like foreign to
that I
her
don't know
is
about
the best. There's so
Well,
many
according
great.
to Ari, I failed.
I'm now
I
going
have a
back over
C
this.
plus.
There's so many great factoids in this. It's awesome.
Well, so the amount of research you had to do is, I mean,
Like,
It
what are you looking? Where are you
seems-
looking this up? Like Wikipedia or like
It seems like
encyclopedias or
a
lots of
lot
other books?
research.
More of like research articles.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not, I want
Real
to be as
places.
accurate. And if I ran into something that I was unsure about, if it didn't exist, then, and it was very close to the time period of when it did exist, I would try to make it work. If it didn't exist at all and was too far, I was like, okay, I can't include that. And if it existed, then I was like, okay, this is when it was invented or discovered. So,
and why did you choose? I mean, Lincoln Civil War. It's an amazing period to study, and we still feel the effects of it today on so many levels. But why did you pick this to be where Ruby Ledger lived? Why the United States? You could have really picked any period of history.
okay, so for the first part of why I chose this specific time period was because originally I wanted Ruby Ledger to be like the inspiration for Sherlock Holmes. And in this, Sherlock Holmes is actually 5 years old. And I wanted, like, nobody knows how Sherlock Holmes became Sherlock Holmes. So throughout the story, which you actually will see, is Ruby's kind of inspiring him as she grows up. So I wanted it to be 30 years before the actual stories, which happened to be about 1860.
Wait, is the Holmes Academy like? I was thinking, is it a nod to Sherlock, or is that
it
like related to Sherlock?
an Easter egg?
Violet Holmes is actually Sherlock Holmes's mother.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's rad.
Yeah, so Miss Holmes's Academy is like Sherlock Holmes's mother's academy.
That's really cool. You don't have to pay anyone for that, though, right?
No, I made sure that it's not copyrighted.
Right, because he's past
Yeah,
copyright.
70 years after the author dies is when you can start using these characters, and it's not copyrighted anymore. I originally wanted to use the name from the Enola Holmes series, but that was copyrighted, so I used the original Sherlock Holmes's mother's name, which was Violet.
This totally reminded me of Enola Holmes, which is such a fun.
Which I love, yeah.
The movies, I loved both of them. I think I liked the second one even more than the first one.
I agree. I thought they were really good.
And it makes me want to see this on the big screen, or at least the TV screen, because it's streaming. It lends itself, I think, to like a series really, really well.
Even more than a movie, I feel like.
So, we also happen to be movie producers, although we could never afford to make this because this is a period piece. But, like you're talking to
we can only set things in 2020, right before the pandemic.
with no extras.
Or 2024 when you don't have to worry as much about.
Put it this way, the actors have to be able to bring their own clothes.
to our movies.
So 1860 is not going to work, but we do.
But we're producers, and tell us your vision for putting this on the screen, because I can't imagine you aren't already thinking about it.
Yeah, so I from the very first day that I wrote it to be written so that it could be turned into a TV show. I feel like part of the idea came from Enola Holmes, and I absolutely loved Enola Holmes, and I was like, this would be a very good Netflix TV show. That would be the dream for one day. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Okay, and Enola's in England. This is in America, so you get you kind of have a different twist on it there.
It is very different. One thing that was important to me was having it be American, because I originally had it be set in England, but then I was like, we've never really had a famous detective from America, and something that other American kids can also look up to.
I guess you don't feel the same about The Mentalist as I do.
The Mentalist?
She's too young. She's too young.
It's a TV show from like 10 years ago. So Help Me Todd, that just got canceled. I'm really bummed about that.
When I saw the news, I was like, I hope he never finds out.
I hope my kids never. When I told my kids, it was so sad. It was like recently when our parents found out that one of our relatives died and no one had told them.
Let's try.
Too soon?
Not compare the two.
But... No, you're right. Not comparable. So Ari, do you imagine particular actors?
I do. So one of the actress that I found to play who would play Ruby, if this ever were to become a TV show, she'd probably become too old. But her name is Mila Jones, and I first saw her.
What's her name? Sorry,
Mila Jones.
Mila Jones.
Mila Jones.
Probably like 9, 8, something like that now. And the reason why for how I first found her was I watched Supergirl when I was younger, and she was on that show, and she's like one of the cutest kids ever. And she just looks very much like how I imagined Ruby to look like. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
All right.
I love that you have someone in mind that like.
And then.
And that it's not like Sydney Sweeney. Not that I have any. I mean, I'm not knocking Sydney Sweeney, but I feel like you're not just going for like whoever's the most popular
Well,
right now.
No.
Also she's.
For me, I would go with whoever looks the most like the characters, or how I imagine, like, for example, Miss Holmes, definitely Keira Knightley. I feel like she definitely.
Cool.
I could see
Mr.
Keira Knightley being.
I'm loving this casting.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right. And what about the parents?
The parents. I had for Margaret Ledger, Florence Pugh. I feel like she has a very sense of like seriousness to her, and just like the way that she looks, even though she's also very beautiful, as described in the book. And then like Millie Jones, I had Amelia Clark because she seems more of like the happy-go-lucky kind of person. But she also seems pretty serious too. And then for Mr. Ledger, George Ledger, Christian Bale, because he also seems very like serious, and he seems like he's ready to put a kid in their place. So those are for the parents.
Might as well put him in a kid movie. What about Henry? What about Mr. Henry?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Henry Cavill.
Oh.
Yeah, put Henry Cavill in everything.
He can do.
Put
all
him
of
in
it.
everything.
So Mr. Henry's going to be that good looking, huh? You don't find that
I
distracting?
have to tell you, when I was reading it, immediately I was like, oh, it's Henry Cavill. By the way, 100%.
It was 100%
It was
Henry.
100% when I read it. I was like, oh, that's the only person I can see. Yeah.
I guess I just imagined too many men as Paul Giamatti in I just think-
Shy's version of a
Going more
handsome,
holdovers
strapping young
than-
teacher is Paul Giamatti.
I mean, I don't know. Henry Cavill's great. Henry Cavill's great. Really great. Love him in everything he's in. Okay. And wait, who else? What about, I mean, you're going to cast a Lincoln?
What about the brother and sister and Lincoln?
I have those
Oh,
two.
yeah.
So
Charlie and
for Lincoln, that one was really difficult to find. And even like the one that I did find, I'm not 100% sure I would cast him as it, but Michael Fassbender is who
that's cool.
That's actually
That's a
really
cool
good
choice.
That's
casting.
cool.
wasn't Lincoln very tall? Fassbender seems very tall.
Yeah. He seems like the closest one I could find, but that's what I got for him. Buchanan, I found John Travolta. Don't know if I'm pronouncing his name. So sorry to that.
John Travolta.
So first of all, that's
I'm
amazing.
not sure you're pronouncing.
Are you
his
going to put
name
like a
right.
whole beard on John Travolta? You're going to put like a whole beard on John Travolta
I'm
for this?
very old.
I feel so old.
I am
I
mad.
mean, but
here's the
not
thing.
pronouncing Travolta's name.
When we
Because it
found
makes
out
me
about
feel
John
very old.
Travolta, Lily and Becky, he had
I was, like,
already been
4.
famous
He-
once, though. Like
Yeah,
he'd-
he had
No, he'd
already
been
had a
famous-
whole career
He had
of
been
being
famous twice. He had been
Twice.
famous on Welcome Back, Carter, which I would not even have known about.
Well,
And
so-
then-
I only knew him from Grease. Oh, and Saturday Night Fever. So
Fever,
he was famous
right.
once. Then
sorry.
my meeting him is Grease.
Is Grease and that whole and what's it called? And Look Who's
And then-
Talking, and like it's like the Look
And
Who's
then his
Talking era.
third
John Travolta.
famous, so that's like his second, like second and a half, and then third is Face Off.
Yeah,
So
but still,
Fiction.
Face Off is
Guy was nominated for an Oscar for Pulp
Fourth,
Fiction.
but
Pulp
Pulp Fiction. But like no, Pulp Fiction.
Ari, have you
is way
seen
before
any John
Face Off.
Travolta movies?
whatever.
Pulp Fiction is
We're
way
saying.
before Face Off, but Face Off is still like what 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I've seen the Look Who's Talking one, but if it makes you feel any better, Buchanan was 70 in 1860.
Oh
so-
no! I think it's I love a Travolta sans. I would love
Oh,
him
yeah.
to be in this.
This is
I'm
like this
just-
is
He
he
actually
owes you.
has.
He owes you right
has
now.
He's in a new movie with Kristen Davis from Sex and the City. Is that her name? Charlotte from Sex and the City. They're in a movie together. It's quite a trailer.
Yeah, but he needs a cool role like this.
Yeah, he needs
This
like a
would
cool
be a great
yeah.
role for him. I'm just
Put on a
feeling very
beard.
old
Do one of
that
his
Ari
like
doesn't
funny.
know how to pronounce
effect-
his last name. I
We're
highly
not.
recommend
We're
Pulp
we're not
Fiction,
making fun of you. We're making fun of us because
that
we're
I'm
so old.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely not making fun of you.
Alright.
I was 20, so I wouldn't know who
we're
John Travolta
But
grappling
what
with
made
this.
you pick John Travolta? Like the dent in his chin, or the?
He just looked the most similar to
He's
Buchanan
definitely
that I found.
available. Is that why?
I don't know.
I feel
That's
like you've got
great.
some. I mean, look, I
This
don't
is-
know who. Like Christian Bale seems like a mystery. I feel like it's no one knows why that guy does any movies, but all of these do seem very gettable. So smart casting, very smart casting.
Mm-hmm.
Cavill's like
Wait.
a bit much, but I don't know. I love it.
Never.
I love this
who,
show.
who else?
Shoot for the
Wait, he's hard to
stars.
get.
Shoot for
He's
the
hard to
stars,
get.
Ari. Get
Who else are
Cavill.
you? Who else are you looking for?
I love this.
Okay, so for Lulu,
Oh
from-
yeah, gotta have Lulu.
from Stranger Things, Tinsley Price, she played Holly. She was like the little girl.
Oh yeah,
Not
yeah,
old
yeah.
enough for that. For Willie,
Oh, the sister? Wait, no. Who is she?
Lulu is the best friend of Ruby in the first book.
No. In Stranger Things.
Oh no, she played Mike's little sister.
Mike's little sister. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Always
then-
forget he has a little sister, but yeah.
You
We
also
should
have to like
very
integrate
often.
capuchin monkeys. I mean, you need a handler for the monkey. I really don't want you to go digital like CGI with the monkey.
No, I would totally want to have like an actual monkey,
Yes.
like a real capuchin monkey on set, like they did in Friends.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I was afraid to bring up the reference because if you were like, I don't know who Marcel is, I would have been like, I have to leave. I'm too old to be on this podcast. But I'm glad that you're going with real monkey. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
I'd
that.
definitely go with real monkey. For Willie, the one that I kind of found, he's also a little bit iffy on if I would have casted him, but Julian Edwards. I
Who's
think
that?
he was a kid. I believe he was in Modern Family, maybe. It was either Modern Family or Fuller. Nope, that was Modern Family, I believe. He played one of the kids, I think. Modern Family. Sorry. And then for Charles, probably gonna pronounce this wrong, so sorry about that. But Elias Harker, he was in Fuller House.
Oh.
He played one of the kids.
Oh, Elias Harker. Okay, yeah. He was. Is he one of the Fuller kids?
I believe so.
Cool.
It's a handsome young man.
All right. Wow.
All right. I feel like you put together a really
Great.
nice mix of like big names, like bankable stars and upcoming talent. This is well done.
Yeah.
Okay, Ari. Now, one of the other things we love to do on our show is we love to get people's recommendations. We, of course, our recommendation is that people go to Amazon.com and order Ruby
Can I-
Ledger and the
can I ask
Assassination.
What I
of
mean, not I know Shai,
Lincoln.
your daughter loved the book and recommended it, but she's also, I feel like, to me, exceptionally bright. What
Lily wants to know if dumb kids can read it.
Yeah, I'm like, what not so much,
What's the age range that you think this book is appropriate
Sassy?
for?
Is that the word?
I am very glad that you asked me that question.
But I would love to know the age range.
So technically speaking, this is a middle grade book. But I've had over 100 people between the ages of 8 years old and 95 years old read it. And so far I haven't received any bad feedback. And most of these people were strangers. Like they didn't owe me anything. I know at my grandmother's retirement home, they were reading it in their book club. They'd never met me before. They just started the book. And some of them went up to my dad and told them it was the best book they ever read, which was really nice.
That's all. And they knew Abraham Lincoln.
Maybe.
Well, yeah,
little-
like
Probably
I
not.
I
Probably not.
believe that a good book is a good book, and that I think, an adult could absolutely read this. I was curious in terms of like on the younger end, like 8, 9. I don't know if my
9 years
8
old.
mean,
would understand the words.
Based on what I've read so far, I'm going to read it to my 6-year-old.
It's so fun because
Sure,
it's
yeah,
in
I
the
think, I
voice,
would read
because
it,
it's
yeah.
written in the voice of Ruby Ledger. I find it extremely relatable to a young kid.
My 6-year-old's going to love
wrote it
this.
to be good for all ages, so it could be good for younger ages as well. I mean, one of the things that makes like this one, I feel like it's different than a lot of other books, is it feels like my character's telling you the story, and it feels like what her adventure was, and she's like taking you with her versus like watching from a distance. So it does have a little bit more telling than it does showing, but that's on purpose because my character's telling you this story. It kind of also reminds me of when like your parents would read to you as a kid and tell you stories as a kid.
Yeah.
That was kind of the vibe I was going for. But yeah, this is a very good book for all ages. So
I have another question.
Compliment.
There's Russian in the book. Like she speaks Russian in the book, right? Is that actual
She speaks
Russian?
many languages.
She speaks many languages, but I know
Russian's
but Russian
her
she
favorite
loves,
because one of her parents
It's
thinks
silly.
it's the funniest.
No, she thinks it's the funniest.
Oh,
she thinks it's silly.
she thinks it's the funniest. That is actual Russian. I also included like the translation of it so people don't have a different.
Okay. Well, my husband speaks Russian, so that'll be really fun.
I hope I did a good job.
Part. I'll let you know.
Not great at Russian, but I tried.
Google Translate. It's fine.
So we recommend this book. And again, we recommend movies all the time. We've recommended books maybe 5 times in the 7 years of this show. So everybody listen
You
up.
think 5 whole times we've recommended
Yeah.
books?
We at least because we talk about David Baddiel's book and we talked about Dr. Pam Gurley's book and we talked about Jonathan Stokes' books, right? Like I can name the probably 5 or 6 books we've recommended. So everybody go and check out this book and check it out with your kids. Super fun. But Ari, do you have recommendations of movies and TV lest we leave people only with things to read at the end of an episode of our show?
Okay. Do you want related to like historical mystery, or do you want like not?
Oh, that's entirely up to you. We'll give recommendations that do or don't have anything to do with that anyway.
Okay. So one that doesn't is called Resident Alien.
Oh, amazing. I love that show.
It was
I
really
love
good.
that show.
Oh, is
Love
it
show.
worth finishing?
Yeah.
I've been very anxious because the first 2 seasons were so great.
They ended the 3rd one on a cliffhanger and it ticked me off a little bit.
But that's not the end of the show though, is it?
No, they're having a 4th season.
Okay, that's great. I will say just a little shout out to the great Sarah Podemsky, is in our movie, is in Floaters. And Sarah she's on Resident Alien. She's a regular on Resident Alien. And I just need to go and get her character's name off the top of my head, but she is a regular character in the show. And that is just an added bonus to what is already a great show. Yeah, Sarah plays Kayla.
Good character. Very good character.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Okay, cool. What else you got for us? Wait, hold on. Resident Alien, let's just say, I think what Resident Alien, in the true way sci-fi should, does such a beautiful job about talking about humanity and showing the humanness of people through this alien who is, experiencing life in this remote town in just such a beautiful and funny way.
I agree. I loved it. It was
Description.
Have you guys seen it, Becky and Lo?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, of course. I've seen the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
I've seen the first.
I was waiting for the 3rd one to be finished before I watched it.
I think it's on Peacock.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's where I watched it. Yeah.
See, guys, Peacock is awesome.
Do you
Keep going.
sorry. A different one is A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Mm-hmm.
Love that
It's a
one.
great one.
Anne with an E.
Oh, did you like that?
It was really good.
What's that?
Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's an Anne of Green Gables? But what is it, like a futuristic
new-
steampunk version or just...
No, it
Original.
takes place in the 1880s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just like the
It's like a-
straight up
Yeah.
Anne of Green Gables, like when because it was out when we were kids.
We were kids.
It was like a very big deal when we were kids, especially if you grew up in Canada. That's all there was Green Gables and Green Gables spin-offs on television.
Mm-hmm.
It's a newer, I think it ended a few years ago.
Yeah, it's fairly like newer.
We had Road to Avonlea, right? Remember that? That was,
Mhm.
it was,
Mhm.
we were just Green Gabling our whole childhood.
I have His Dark Materials.
Oh.
Is that the Golden Compass thing?
Yeah.
I think
Is-
I saw part of the first season of that.
Did it continue or did it get cut off?
I think there's a few seasons.
Okay, cool. Because
I
that was
like-
another one where it's like a big epic. I liked the Golden Compass movie. I thought that was cool.
Oh, I liked it too. It was very interesting. It's been a while since I've watched it though.
All right, do you have one more for us?
Yeah. Hidden Figures.
Oh.
No, it's a great
It's a
movie.
great
movie
It's a great movie.
about math.
About
All right. You're
science and math.
because let's talk a little bit about you just a
Strong
little bit more.
women.
You're an engineer.
Yes.
Mechanical
You're a math expert and you're also a creative writer.
Yeah. I love all of
I
them.
think they call it a mathematician, Shy. Like a
What is
math
Shy?
expert.
Well, I don't
He
know.
said
Maybe you
you're
have
a
to
math. He said you're a math expert. Wouldn't you be a mathematician? Isn't that like?
I guess I'm
yeah.
Can you be a mathematician without getting like certified as a mathematician? Is
I
that
don't think it's like nursing. I think you just study math and you're
I don't
like
think
a
anyone's going to get
mathematician.
hurt necessarily.
Like being a philosopher. Like you're studying philosophy. So you're a philosopher studying math. You're a mathematician.
what?
Oh, do you need
Okay.
like the degree first? Oh, maybe you need the degree.
Did you ever watch the show Numbers?
No.
Do you know what that
That's a
show
fun
is?
Okay,
show if
not
you
to
like
bury the
crime
lead.
stuff.
It's about numbers.
There's two brothers. One's
Great show.
FBI agent, and the other is his math genius brother, who comes on as a consultant to his FBI unit, and they solve all these mysteries and like
Using
terrorist
math.
attacks and things with math.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, except it's always such high level algorithmic math that like it also could be potions. Like it doesn't like to me it doesn't make
Oh.
sense at a certain point.
And I'm watching the show Three Body Problem, which is about physics, but that's also math. There's a lot of math in that show.
I
A
will
lot of physics.
look into it. I'm currently in physics and I will be in linear algebra in the fall.
Okay, so then you should watch it because it's I describe it as the show must be so cool for people who study physics or understand physics. Like I have a friend who's a physicist and I was like, you're gonna love this show because that's just all it's about. And for regular people, you're like, yeah, I think this seems cool, but I'm not really sure. But for people who like this stuff, it must be thrilling. So
I will definitely look it up.
so for you, I recommend it.
And definitely check out Numbers. It's more of a procedural like mystery of the week kind of show, but it was on for a long time.
It seems like it's really interesting based on your description.
Yeah, it's I would say it's not particularly deep, but I would say it's a lot of fun. I'll watch like a few episodes every once in a while. It helps me relax.
That's good.
It's got a great cast also. All right. Becky, you watched Three Body Problem. How is that? Everyone's like hyped about
It's
that.
exactly how I describe it. Super cool for people who are into physics.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise I'm like, I put it this way, I keep watching it, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm still watching it, so it must be good. But I feel like it's really good if you like science. It's mostly about maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's like about aliens. I don't really know what it's about yet. Aliens or math or the sun. I don't know. I can't explain it. Video games, unclear. You know what, Ari? Watch it. Tell me what it's about.
I will. I'll get back to you.
Lily.
I missed last week's because I've been working, so I haven't had time to watch anything. I know that's like
Which one of you was
punishable by
watching
law.
Only You or
That was me last night. I was watching
Oh.
Anyone But You, and
Gotcha.
we have to have it.
She can't recommend it because
I actually do recommend it.
you
I
the
recommend
first half,
it.
the second half is
I do too. I watched it
I-
last weekend. It was really good.
I
No,
recommend it,
wasn't.
and I
The
have to
second
say-
half was what was
I have
that
to say,
word?
even
Shy, you called unlicked puppies. What was that? Or gob faced or vasy. All of
Here's
those
the
words
thing.
describe the second half.
here's
of that
the
movie.
thing, but the first half is funny enough that I would just keep watching it. The first half an hour, I laughed out loud
Because
no less than
he
5 times.
carries the movie. Like, I want to call him Colin Powell. I also want to call him Glenn Howerton. I also want to call him. Who did I call him the other day? Powell, Shy? I called him the wrong Powell the other day.
There's another Powell.
What is he, Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell.
He's Glenn
But
Powell.
I
he
definitely
carries.
called him somebody else the other day.
He
too.
Yeah,
carries
you
the
definitely
movie.
carries that movie
He's
'cause
he's the full
delicious.
charm. He's the full charm of the
everything.
movie. He's
Yeah.
great. And listen, it suffers from a few, not high enough stakes, not enough tension, things like that. But the
Stakes
truth
are
is,
overrated.
stakes are overrated. He's charming. It's
It
fine.
could have been better.
Hold on. Ari's the young person here. Ari
And the
liked
side
it.
characters are funny enough. The side
Ari,
characters are very funny.
What'd you think about it? You're a young person here.
I mean, I liked it. I don't like that many movies. I don't watch them very often. I read a lot more. But when I find something that I like, typically I pretty like it. I would agree with you saying how in the beginning of it was really good. And that's what kept me going to the very end. Because you just had to find out what happened next.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am watching a movie. I've been waiting for this. So first of all, wait, I'll just say, get out of the way. Allie and I finished Shogun. It's really excellent. Everyone should see it. I've been watching now videos comparing it to the old one. And while there's so many modern great things about the new one and it's beautifully acted, there's also a nice reminder of how good the original Shogun is as well, because the base story is awesome. They follow it really well. Shogun. Okay. The movie I started last night that Allie sat with me for good 10 minutes of the half hour that I watched and said, I'm not, she just says to me, she turns to me, she goes, I am not. She's like, I appreciate this, but I am not watching this. This was recommended by the great Tony Dobish, who we go way, 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 way back. He's one of the original founders of the Take Two podcast that is no more. But Tony's a good buddy. Tony texted me and asked if I would check out or recommended I would check out Hundreds of Beavers. Okay, that's the name of this movie, Hundreds of Beavers. And it's in black and white. And it's extremely, I would say, lo-fi is the way to describe it. It's almost essentially a silent movie. It's not totally silent because there's noise. There's sound effects and things. It's just this guy wakes up after a big snowstorm in the winter and he's trying to survive. But it's almost like a human version of Wile E. Coyote or Bugs Bunny. I can't describe this movie, but it is wild. And it is definitely not for everybody, but it's I laughed out loud a number of times, but it is extraordinarily weird.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it's available for rent, or I would say I'm half hour into it. It's also an hour and 46 minutes, which I'll see how that pans out. But a half hour in, I would say it's at least a rent just to say you saw it. And
okay.
And I really want to know, Lily and Becky, if you give me a half hour of this movie, okay? You don't have to watch the whole thing.
A half an hour, but
please, on the plane, Lily.
No.
And watch with your husbands, please.
Okay.
Because I need to know what your husbands think of the first half hour of this movie.
Sure. No problem.
My odds are Becky's husband will like it. Hundreds of Beavers.
Yeah, but then
Ari,
what will happen is that I'll then be forced to watch the whole movie.
Ari, I don't know if this movie's made for the kids, but because of your old timey sensibilities, maybe you'll like it.
Okay, I will definitely look into it.
It is the strangest thing I've seen. It's stranger than Sasquatch Sunset, but more enjoyable, a lot more enjoyable.
Okay. I have 2 recs.
Okay.
One, I'm sure you've read this, but in case you haven't, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow, the book.
This is another reading? More reading recommendations?
She's an author. I'm going to recommend a book. I don't know if you've read that book.
I don't think I've gotten to that one yet.
Okay, we'll write that down.
It's great. I listened to it on tape and I loved it. I listened to an audible of it.
I also think with the way that you're into history, or maybe you said you weren't into history and that's what inspired you to write this book. It was hard, but I feel like your brain can do a heavy lift with all the engineering and creative writing that you're doing. I would recommend this, not necessarily to everyone, but I would recommend to you Cloud Cuckoo Land, because that is a very complex story with multiple stories going at the same time, which are all connected in different times, like 1400s, future, present. Yeah, I think that would be a cool book you might like. And then I could not handle very much this week. And so I needed something, Becky, you'll understand this, Outlander-y, that was just sort of an escape. And I've never gotten the chance to read D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover, that book. Now I'm interested in reading it because it's extremely famous. But the girl that plays Princess Diana on The Crown, whatever. I don't know her name, but she's. I
Mm.
recognize the actress, and she's in. There's a Netflix version of the book. It's a film of it, and the acting was great, and it actually is it's a really beautiful story. I really want to read.
Wait, what are we talking about?
I'm so confused. Did you
Lady-
read a
You
book
named
or watch
3
a
books
show?
and a 4-movie
It's a
series.
movie. I haven't read the book, but they made a movie, and I watched the movie
Of what?
instead. Lady Chatterley's Lover. It's a very famous book.
I mean, I'm
It's
pretty
on
sure that's
Netflix.
like a dirty movie from the 70s, Lily.
Well, D.H. Lawrence wrote it, so they may have made other movies. of
Who's
it.
who's D.H. Lawrence?
A writer? Gosh,
Okay.
I
Mm,
don't know.
okay.
Well,
Anyways, I recommend that as a fun escape movie.
all right. Well, I continue to make myself sound
D.H. Lawrence is
ridiculous.
an English novelist. Thank you very much.
Okay.
1885 is when he was born. So
Well,
right around the
maybe
time-
let's bring it all back. Maybe Ruby Ledger will help solve a mystery for D.H. Lawrence. Many, many books down in the series. The book is Ruby Ledger and the Assassination of Abraham Lincoln. It is the first in a series of which there will be hopefully many, many novels, but we know at least 3 are they're going to be at least 2 more cooking and coming. And we think 8 total over time, at least. And maybe one day a series. That would be amazing. And the author is Ari Skolnick. Ari, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following @FryNightMovie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FryNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.